Hey everyone, Mark from RVLove here today. As you would have seen in a recent video, we recently bought a Jeep Cherokee Trailhawk, and as mentioned in that video, we're towing it fore down or flat towing it behind our motorhome, which means that the vehicle is towed with all of its four tires on the ground rolling freely with the use of a tow bar. So today we're going to talk about what tow bar we chose. Stay tuned. Welcome back everybody. Today I'm talking about the tow bar that we chose and how we set up our Jeep to be able to tow fore down behind the motorhome. Today's video we're going to be talking specifically about the tow bar because that is universal to virtually any towed vehicle that is able to be towed fore down. Now our Jeep Cherokee is the Trailhawk edition, which is a vehicle that is able to be towed fore down. There are some specifics related to that. We're going to do a separate video that talks about the specific items about the Jeep. Today's video we're just talking about the tow bar and how the tow bar works, because a tow bar can be used on virtually any other vehicle that can be towed fore down. So this is similar equipment that you might find on a lot of different vehicles. There's a lot of different tow bars on the market. The three main manufacturers are Roadmaster, Blue Ox, and Demco. We chose the Roadmaster tow bar, and specifically we chose the Roadmaster Nighthawk. We've seen Roadmaster speak at a couple of rallies and events, and we actually had an opportunity to go and do a factory tour of their facility, and we were amazed at how much of the whole process they do. They are true manufacturers, starting with raw steel, and they create all these parts in their facility. It's pretty cool to watch. So we chose the Roadmaster Nighthawk. This tow bar is rated for 8,000 pounds of towing capacity. Our Jeep weighs about 4,500 pounds, so we're well within that rating. The outer part of the arm is made of aluminum and then sprayed with black matte finish texture. Actually is kind of nice because it makes it really grippy. One of the most unique features about the Nighthawk is that it has these amber LED lights along it, and what that is nice for is at nighttime when you're towing it behind your RV, that lights up the area between the taillights of the RV and the taillights of the towed vehicle, because normally there's no light in between. The front lights of a towed vehicle do not usually light up, and so that's a big dark space. And if a car is coming up to merge or changing lanes, this is a way to help give additional visibility to the vehicle at nighttime. And it's also really nice when you're showing up at a campsite if it's after dark, because it'll illuminate that area and give you some light to be able to do the disconnecting without having to hold a flashlight. When you're looking at tow bars, in my opinion, one of the most important things to look for is a non-binding tow bar. A non-binding tow bar is going to be a lot easier to work with. It's going to be easier to work with for hooking up, and it's going to be especially easier when you're disconnecting. Traditional tow bars, you need to be relatively straight and relatively level to be able to disconnect the car. With a non-binding tow bar, you're going to be able to disconnect your vehicle even in extreme turns and on downhills. If you're on an uphill surface, no matter what type of tow bar it is, you're going to have to get a little more creative, creating a little bit of forward pressure on it to be able to release it. But the big deal on a non-binding tow bar, it gives you enormous flexibility in being able to release the pressure from that tow bar. The Roadmaster ones in particular, they have something that's called Freedom Latch, and basically it gives you 400 to 1 pressure when you lift the lever. It gives you 400 to 1 pressure to release that. So basically if you're lifting with 5 pounds of pressure, that equates to 2,000 pounds of pressure to release that latch. So that makes it very easy to release the pressure. When you're setting up the tow bar, the arms are loose and they're flexible, which gives you some flexibility in how close you are with your tow vehicle. You don't have to be exactly right on to be able to connect it. You can be a little bit off to the side, you can be a little bit closer or a little bit further away than the optimal spot. Traditional tow bars, you have to be very precise in where you park your vehicle in preparation of putting it connected to the tow bar of the motorhome. Another feature I really like about this style tow bar is that the brackets that mount into the vehicle to be attached to the tow bar are removable, and then when they're removable, you're able to have the vehicle look virtually stock. Some of the older tow bars or tow bars that are mounted to the car instead of to the motorhome, you end up using the big bars in the front of the tow vehicle, which are a little unsightly, but also if you're ever in an accident or any minor collision, that would damage that tow bar. Whereas if you have it this style, it's going to be more protected and it's going to be more stealthy installation, so your car looks like a regular car when you're driving around. Another feature you'll often see in a non-binding or all-terrain style tow bar is that it has multiple pivot points that allow it to twist and turn and go up and down. The pivot points in the center allow for a lot of terrain variation, so if you're going on some uneven terrain, going in and out of dips, or if you're on speed bumps or anything that's uneven, it doesn't put near as much strain on the vehicle or the tow bar itself because there's some give in that equation. So in today's video, we're going to show you how long it takes, and we'll show you step by step what is involved in connecting the vehicle to the motorhome using a tow bar. Alright, let's see how long it takes me to hook up the Jeep to the motorhome with the tow bar. Got my little stopwatch here. Ready? Go. That wasn't racing or anything, that's just putting on gloves, doing it slow and steady, getting all the pieces together. 2 minutes is pretty fast. It actually takes us longer to get our Jeep into neutral than it does to connect it to the tow bar. Same thing once you get to where your destination is and you're gonna unhook the tow bar, but we'll do that next. And stop. 1 minute, 40 seconds. And that's putting it back into the stowed position against the motorhome. So under 2 minutes to connect and disconnect. It's pretty darn fast. Depending on how your vehicle is set up to get into neutral, and depending on what braking system you have, will definitely impact that setup and disconnect time. But as far as the actual connecting the hardware, it's pretty quick, under 2 minutes. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and connect the car with the tow bar again, but this time I'm going to do it much slower and explaining each step so you have a really good understanding of what's happening as I'm connecting it to the car. This is just a vinyl cover. It's really nice to be able to keep over the tow bar when it's in its stowed position, keep any dust or rain or anything off of it, and it also looks a lot nicer and tidier. Also keeps the cables up off the ground, and so they don't dangle around if you do drive somewhere with the motorhome without the car attached. I like wearing gloves when I do this because there are some potential pinching hazards. So by wearing gloves, dramatically reduce that risk. Then I like to actually put the brackets into the Jeep. All you need to do is insert it and twist it to lock it. Once those are set, you can release the tow bar from its safety latch and bring it down. I parked the Jeep a little close this time. Usually you could park a little bit further back and it would still be fine. They have a lot of flexibility in side to side and in the distance that you can cover. Because of the design of this, it'll actually hold that in place even before I put the pin in. And you see this one is super close, there's only about an inch. This one, I've got about 6 inches, and if I would have parked further away, I could have easily gone further as well. Once the arms are in here, you take the pin, slide it through, and you could just use a pin through the end of that to hold it still, but I prefer to use an actual lock. It makes it more secure connection in my opinion, and it also makes it tamper proof just in case there's anybody who thinks they're being a comedian and pulls your pins when you're not watching. One safety cable, and like the other safety cable, just clips right on. And then this red wire, this is the wire that connects all of the lights, because you're going to want to wire your tow vehicle so that you have the tail lights of your towed vehicle matching the towing vehicle. So when you turn on a turn signal in one, the turn signals match, brake lights, and then activating whatever braking system you have as well. Once that's plugged in, the last remaining item is the breakaway. And this is a safety measure just in case something went really wrong and the entire vehicle came disconnected from the motorhome. This breakaway would get pulled and that would activate the safety braking system of the towed vehicle. All right, there you go, easy as that. Pretty simple, it only takes a couple minutes and you're good to go as far as the tow bar is connected. But you will still need to do put your vehicle into neutral, and depending on the vehicle, that could be a lengthy process. You first start pulling away with your motorhome, with the tow vehicle. You're going to want to turn hard left and hard right to turn the vehicle's extreme angles both left and right to make sure the tow bar locks and is ready to be towed, because otherwise if those tow bars not locked in place, next time you brake, it could come forward and put undue strain because it's not created the full strong triangle. This also gives you an opportunity to see the tow vehicle in your mirror and see that the wheels are rolling freely. Some of the big motorhomes have so much power that they will actually drag the towed vehicle even if the brakes are on, or if it's in gear, they'll drag it around on the dirt or wet pavement or even on dry pavement sometimes, dramatically reducing your lifespan of your tires. But you can see here that the Jeep is actually lower ground than the motorhome right now. But normally this is nice and level, so when you're setting up your installation, you might want a drop hitch installed on your motorhome so that you can get the proper angle. Do not be like this guy who we found at a local gas station. Having invested more substantially in our tow vehicle itself, we were much more comfortable with the larger investment in a towing setup, and that's why we have the tow bar and the braking system installed on this Jeep. Whenever you're going to be making an installation for a 4-down setup, there is going to be an installation involved as far as brackets on the vehicle. You're generally going to have some type of braking system installed. Sometimes you can use a portable braking system. We'll talk about that in the next video, what braking system we chose. Alright, well I hope you guys enjoyed this video showing you how the tow bar works. Be sure to check back with us soon. In the next video we're going to talk about the items we specifically chose for the Jeep and why. And that's going to include the braking system and how we set up for wiring and specific items, getting it into neutral, and other aftermarket features that are required to tow these Jeeps. Don't think it's only for people that are having Jeeps though, because that next video is going to have the braking system that could be used on virtually any towed vehicle, but we will go into more detail on specific needs for that. So be watching for that video soon, and until next time, we'll see you on the road.